Here we go. Okay, welcome everyone. We are excited to have Ability First Utah present another webinar for us. We've partnered with them to do several of these educational seminars, and today we'll be talking about emergency preparedness. We talked about this topic, and interesting enough, September is National Emergency Preparedness Month. So it's really great timing. We'll be talking about different ways to prepare and how to involve your whole family and not have it be scary for your children, particularly focused on families that have children with special needs. So I will turn the presentation over to Janine and Angel from Ability First Utah.
Thank you, Sylvia. Like Sylvia mentioned, my name is Angel Cortez. I'm the Marketing Communications Coordinator, and I've been with Ability First Utah now for 2 years. My partner in crime, Janine Culver, she's also, do you want to introduce yourself, Janine?
Hi, I'm Janine, and I'm the Employment Coordinator and the Benefits Counselor at Ability First. I have been with Ability First for 7 years and have had the pleasure of working with Angel since he came on board, and I do look forward to continuing our partnership and camaraderie that we do.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you for having us here today.
Yes, thank you for having us. So like Sylvia said, September is a month of our emergency preparedness awareness month. And we wanted to discuss this topic, and we're gonna start with our presentation. So we wanna talk about who we are. Ability First Utah is a non-103 nonprofit organization that contracts with the Department of Workforce Services and Vocational Rehabilitation Program to provide independent living services to individuals with disabilities of any age and of any type of disability. When we say any age and of any type of disability, we don't ask proof for disability. We take the word for it. We don't ask for medical records. They don't have to be on benefits or health insurance. We can help them just saying that they have a big disability. We started in January 2001. We are a non-residential center for independent living, and Ability First Utah promotes independent and self-sufficiency for individuals with disabilities, and we promote alternative to institutionalization. So what is our independent living philosophy? Means that people with disability have the same rights as others, to including the right to full participation in the community, and they also have the right to make their own decisions and their own choices. Our mission statement is that we want to recognize, advocate, and respect each individual's right and ability to realize their deserved quality of life. This will be accomplished by identifying needs, providing resources, strengthening abilities, and advocating social and political change to individuals with disabilities. So Ability First Utah as a community organization. Services that we offer, such as classes and activities, are based on our consumer wants. Services provided are flexible because Ability First Utah is a consumer-driven organization, and we teach our consumers advocacy skills to help them advocate for their own issues, as well as getting them connected with other resources in the community. So Ability First Utah primary core independent living services. We have 6 primary core independent living services. The first one is information referral, independent living skill training classes, nursing home transition, youth transition and pre-eds, peer support, and individual and citizenship advocacy. We want to make clear that we're providing these services remotely because of the pandemic, and we are providing classes and activities virtually through Zoom, and we can still help people get them connected with resources in the community. So, and all of our services provided by Ability First Utah are free to the consumers due to state and federal grant. We don't charge anything for our consumers that participate in our services, and we help them to become independent. So how to become part of Ability First Utah? The first step in this process is to call Ability First Utah and make an appointment to meet with an independent living specialist. They will conduct an intake assessment and evaluate the needs of our consumers to establish a plan aimed at attaining the goals and forging the path to their success and independence. We're the best kept secret in the valley, and we wanna break that model, and we want the community to know that Ability First Utah is there to help this special population and be able to be there every step of the way for them. So now we're gonna go ahead and with our presentation for emergency preparedness. So what is emergency preparedness? The term refers to the steps you take to make sure you're safe before, during, and after an emergency or natural disaster. That's what is emergency preparedness. We want to discuss the 4 phases of emergency preparedness because each one could be beneficial for each individual that that could face a potential disaster. We want to share with you the information that we have about how to prepare for a disaster. But these 4 phases will help you in that process. The first one is prevention and mitigation. The second one is preparedness. The third one is response. And the fourth one is recovery. And we're gonna go in detail to talk about on each one. So prevention and mitigation. So preventing future emergencies or minimizing their effect. So mitigation activities takes place before and after an emergency. I'm from Puerto Rico, and I want to share that we often have to prepare for emergencies. We're very prone to have hurricanes, earthquakes, and through my childhood, I learned that being prepared for an emergency can help in the process of dealing with the emergency. So this prevention and mitigation includes some of the examples of a hazard mitigation include tying down homes and barns with ground anchor to withstand wind and damage. In Puerto Rico, when we have hurricanes, we put in our houses panel woods, so the water and the wind will not break into the house. So this is one of prevention mitigation. So also digging water channels to redirect water and planting vegetation to absorb water is another example of mitigation. Constructing levees of permanent barriers to control flooding and reinforcing fences to prevent any animal escape. And buying insurance policy is a mitigation example. It includes actions aimed at preventing an emergency, reducing the possibility of its occurrence, and reducing the unavoidable effects thereof. So, and also another example of mitigation could be buying flood and fire insurance for your home is a mitigation activity, yes. And in the bottom of each slide, you can see our sources. And preparedness. The second phase, this phase includes planning, training, and education for activity for events that cannot be mitigated. Preparedness activity takes place before an emergency occurs. So this phase includes plans or actions aimed at saving lives, human and animal, on helping response and rescue operation. An evacuation plan and stocking food and water are both examples of preparedness. Preparedness, like I mentioned, takes place before an emergency. Another examples of preparedness could be developing disaster preparedness plans for what to do, where to go, and who to call for help in a disaster. Exercising plans through drills, tabletop exercises, and full-scale exercises. Creating and supply list of items that are useful in a disaster, and walking around a farm or identifying possible vulnerability to high winds. Response. So respond safely to an emergency. Response activities take place during an emergency. So this one includes actions taken to save life and prevent further property damages in an emergency situation. Response is putting your preparedness plans into action. Seeking shelter from a tornado or turning off gas valve in an earthquake are both responses of activities. Other examples for response activities include implemented disaster response plans, conducting search and rescue missions, taking actions to protect yourself and your family, your animals, and others, and addressing public perception about food safety. Also, we want other examples of response of the face of emergency preparedness is environmental monitoring and rescue evacuation, public information during the crisis, and communicational management. Recovering from an emergency. Yes. Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico in 2017 on September 20th. After this emergency, people were recovering from this disaster that took the life of almost 4,000 people. So when that happened, we had various of FEMA came to seek how to implement and help Puerto Rico, and also it helped us with the infrastructure, especially the power. Puerto Rico was without power for a year, and we did not have and we did not have the the power to be able to be able to help on this emergency. We had the help of FEMA, and that was a great service that would help us. So other examples of recovery activities include rebuilding damaged structures based on advanced knowledge obtained from the preceding disaster and reducing vulnerability to future disasters. So Janine is going to talk about the 3 steps of emergency preparedness. And I think she's trying to reconnect. She got kicked out. Let's see. Oh, Sylvia, have you been able to see Janine reconnect?
Let me see. Did we lose Janine here?
Yes.
I don't see her on right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me wait a little bit more. But while we wait for Janine, it was being able to prepare for an emergency is very important. And one of the things that we're going to talk about next on the 3 steps of emergency preparedness is what actions we need to take in order to be prepared for an event that could be potentially harmful for us, like a natural disaster. And Janice will be talking about those pretty soon. Let's see if she can stay with us soon. Yes.
Sorry, folks. Thanks for your patience. We lost one of
Yeah.
our speakers here. It'll just be one moment.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. I think she won't be able to join us. I'm gonna keep with the webinar. I'm gonna be presenting on the webinar. So yes, not a problem. So thank you for your patience. I'm sorry about the interruption. Um, so the 3 steps of emergency preparedness are, the first one is know the risk. Know the risk in a region can help you better prepare for a disaster. So some natural disasters that citizens of Utah could be at risk are, weather-related events, such as floods, dam, dam failures, snow avalanches, earthquakes, slow failures, landslides, wildfires, random gas exposure, and drought.
Okay, my internet allowed me to come back finally. Hi.
Okay. No worries. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, so
So
where are
yeah,
we?
do you want to go and talk about the 3 steps of emergency preparedness, Jenny?
Okay, the audio is breaking up.
Oh, do you want to talk about the 3 steps of emergency preparedness?
Yes, I definitely can do that. Yes. Okay, so now we're at the 3 steps of emergency preparedness. So step 1 of the emergency preparedness is knowing the risk. What areas do you live in? Do you live in a possible flood zone? Do you live at the base of a mountain where avalanches are a potential danger and or risk? So there's weather-related events such as the food shortage, if we're in a drought, dam failures, snow avalanche, earthquakes, slope failures and landslides, wildfires. That is the big one right now, especially in California and Oregon. And then the radon gas exposure. And then again, there is the droughts, which also affects the food source. And then step 2 is making a plan. So when you're looking at making a plan, you know that your family may not be together when an event happens. And so having a plan, especially where you can have a designated place for your family to meet or unite, and that could be anywhere in the yard or neighbors or out in the middle of the street where you're away from any potential buildings that might be dealing with earthquakes. If your children are not at home, let's say they're at a friend's house or at school, and you need a designated person to go pick up your children, it's really important for that person and your child to have a common word, a safe word, so that the children know that that person is supposed to pick them up. It's also a safety, concern that when somebody is picking up your children, they need to know that they're safe with that word. And then, contact people outside of the state in case you need to evacuate and go to a different state for safety. And then consider special health needs when you are evacuating. Is there equipment that needs to go with you or your child? And then what is your plan to make sure that those supplies and equipments go with you? Also your pets are very important. We don't want to leave them behind if possible. Know where your cat carrier, your dog crate, or your leash or whatever that you need in order to round up your animal, and have food available for your animal. And then again, look at the risk for your regions. Are you looking at, are you needing to have sandbags available? What's your potential for when you do exit the house? What dangers are outside? And then locate your fire extinguishers, your water valve, your electronic boxes, your gas valve, and your floor drains. And then if you're possible, have equipment in order to turn off those gas valves and your electrical boxes. You don't want to be searching for that tool when you're needing to turn off the gas and secure those lines so that you're eliminating that potential exposure to the gas and stuff. And then keep your plan handy. have a copy in your glove compartment of your car. Have it in your emergency grab kit when you're going out the door. Just have copies of those plans in strategic places so that you can refer back to them in times of emergency. And then step 3 is your emergency kit. There are a lot of good 72-hour kits that you can purchase, but also take into consideration other things that can go into your kit. You want to customize your kit. You are looking at a lot of things that need to go into your kit, such as water. They recommend that you have at least 2 to 4 liters of water in your emergency kit. But take into other considerations that you might need more water. Maybe you're needing gallons. If you need to take water for your animals, water that needs to go with you for medications, special foods that you need to prepare, or special medicines that need water. So you can kind of gauge, personalize it. A manual can opener is great to have in your kit. Also the battery for the flashlights, those rechargeable ones, they are really great. I particularly have one that when you shake it, it recharges itself. And so that's good to have, because if your batteries go low or die, you're able to recharge it by that action with the shaking. It's that friction that recharges it. And then if you're able to have a radio so that you can listen to emergency announcements, evacuation announcements, those type of things. First aid kit, a must. Have your band-aids, your bandages, a little pair of scissors, your Q-tips, all of those things that are going to fit into a nice little kit. There's the salve for antibiotic ointment, burn ointments. Those type of things are really good to have. And generally those are relatively inexpensive, or you can build your own, customize it. Take extra keys for your house and your car. They also have some cash in your bag or your kit, so that if you need, it's there. Because a lot of times in emergencies, your ATMs are not going to work. You're not going to have access to the bank. Writing a check may not be an option, so cash handy is great. Also, special items such as your prescription, your infant formulas, equipment for the people with disabilities, your food and your water, medications and food for your pets, and then specialize that kit. Assess your family dynamics and the things that you can add to that kit.
Awesome. Now we're gonna talk about prepare your children for emergencies. And Janine, do you wanna explain what we're gonna, this slide?
So preparing your children for the preparedness, it is really important that your kids understand the potentials for floods, earthquakes, those type of things. And you can talk with them without scaring them or having them at a really high state of anxiety. There's a lot of YouTube videos and other things that you can, show with your kids, that the potentials, that if you're living alongside of the Jordan River, it may have torrential rains and the water might rise. And if that's the case, then help them understand that is a potential. And then what is the plan for, do we need to get the sandbags? Do we need to leave and go to grandma's, and so they have an idea of what could possibly happen. Make that emergency plan and the emergency kit, have those together. And then make your kids know what to do in school in case of emergencies. Again, they may not be home, they may be at school. And so they're in the hands of the teachers and those at the other authority figures in their life, and help them understand that following instructions and staying with the group is really, really important.
Yes. And I want to add that to Janine, that when kids are in school, make them Make them aware about who to turn to in case of an emergency, like a teacher, a classmate, or someone that they can turn on to in an emergency. Yes.
And then I think a really important key is to helping the children cope with the anxieties during the time of emergency. When you are dealing with this, I mean, a lot of times we go into that survival mode. It's grab the kids and let's go. But they are a major part of this, and having them understand, I believe, also relieves that anxiety. It helps them to know what to do. Let's say if it's time to evacuate, the children, okay, let's go. If we have to.
Angel, did we lose Janine there with the internet connection?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, I can take it from here.
Okay.
Not a problem. So children can feel, like Janine was saying, children can feel the stress deeply and may react in different ways. And the key to help them, your children cope is simply by being there and making them feel safe. Um, Also take their fears seriously and tell them that it's okay to be scared. Explain the events as best as you can and acknowledge what's frightening them that, about what happened. So so parents play a big role in helping children deal with anxiety during a disaster. It may be helpful too to talk to a professional such as a psychologist or a social worker so that they can help the children know how to cope with their emotions during an emergency. So how to teach your children how to use 911. So there are four simple steps that we found that you can teach your children on how to use 911. The first one is explaining what is 911. And the second one is teach them to assess the risk before dialing 911 and explain what the type of information to give once they have called 911. So, practice scenarios with them is the fourth one to make them more familiar with the concept of frightening without frightening them. So how to explain your children what is 911? This is the first one that we could talk is children should be taught how to call 911. So if your children are young, use simple words and avoid medical terms. And also describe the system. If someone close to you has a particular health problem, you should explain it to your children. Describe the symptoms and tell them what to do in case this person is not feeling well. So play like a scenario of how to, what kind of things they could say if they feel like they need to use 111. That's part of explaining how to use 911. The second one is assess the risk before calling 911. Your children must be able to determine whether or not it is safe to call 911 from where they are, reminding them that they must be somewhere safe before calling 911. We want them to be safe, and if they need to call 911, making sure that the place that where they are is safe. Um, and then, for example, tell them that if there is a fire in a room or throughout the house, they are to leave the house immediately and then call 911. Explain your children that calling 911 is not a game or a joke. And tell them that every second counts when someone is in danger. and unnecessary 911 could prevent someone who is truly in danger from getting help. Um, Assessing the situation, it will be good to try to teach the children on how to use 911. It will be a life, it could be a lifesaver event if we know how to teach them to use 911. So what to say to when to call 911? Finally, explain your children what will happen when they call 911. What is the scenario? What question they could be asked when calling 911? Teach them that they are that teach them that they are then to describe the situation and say where they are. The location for an emergency is always asked first in when calling 911. Then the name, the location, and phone number of the caller. It is important to be accurate and clear as possible. Tell them that someone, a man or a woman, will ask them whether they need a police, fire, or an ambulance. Again, your children are young and use words that are easy to understand, such as ambulance and paramedic. So we want to emphasize that children, when they call 911, they will be able to be prepared if we teach them how to use this emergency tool. Oh, Jenny, do you want to go and practice practice your role?
Yes, the role playing with children, it helps them to know ahead of time what to expect in certain scenarios. One that comes to mind is if the children are sleeping and the smoke alarm goes off in the middle of the night. When they wake up, of course, it's going to be disorientating. It's dark, coming out of a sleep. And so when they hear that smoke alarm going off, what is their first reaction? Their first reaction is to come find you, but it may not be safe. And so talking with them to stop before you enter to the hall from your room, is the smoke too thick for you to see? Do you see flames? Is it safer to go out the window? You know, kind of give them ideas of what to look for, and then alternative actions if, let's say, they can't run out into the hall and find you, and then follow through with that plan to relocate with the family, you know, in a safe place outside. And so there's a lot of different scenarios that you can throw out. There is the one with the flood. If you wake up and the house is flooded, their first reaction again is to come find you. Is that a safe option? And so doing the role playing, it definitely will help with the anxiety, and it will allow them to stop and think through some of this, hopefully, that things will turn out all, you know, good for the whole family. But this helps. This does help with that, increasing that potential for everyone to come out safe.
Yes, thank you, Janine. And also familiarizing with children's situation will reduce, like Janine mentioned, the panic or anxiety in case of a real emergency. So they will be able to um, feel less anxious if we prepare them. For example, you can create a game with scenario for your children and test their knowledge, and that will be one of the steps that you can take. So I think that's everything we have. Do we have any questions we could answer?
For your questions, feel free to use the chat feature down at the bottom, or if you'd like, you are welcome to unmute your microphone and just ask your question that way.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
don't see any questions in the chat right now. Angel, did you want to put up that last slide? Did you have a slide with your contact information for Ability First?
Let me put it right now. Yeah. Just a sec. Just a sec, bear with me. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah, here's our contact information.
Great, thank you. Well, folks, we'll give you, oh, we have a comment here in the chat. Thank you so much for this valuable information.
Thank you for participating in this webinar. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you being here. I think that especially with recent events and just maybe we can even say this entire year, reviewing emergency preparedness is always so valuable. I think it's, you know, stuff that we know, but we don't always review and think about. One thing Janine mentioned was having the tool to turn off the gas nearby. And that's something where I thought, wow, I don't know where our tool is.
Yes.
So we have Ability First contact information for Janine and Angel up there. We will be having this recording available on our YouTube and our Facebook either later today, if not tomorrow. We have another comment in the chat. Thank you so much for the presentation. Great reminders of how we should prepare, and we don't have to be afraid.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you
And
for participating.
thank you, Angel and Janine, for putting this together and taking the time to present this information to our families. We greatly appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you too. Thank you for letting us be part of your webinar today, and we're looking forward for our other ones.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.